For several tense moments inside South Africa's National Assembly, one question overshadowed every debate, every document, every speech: where is the president? Before we break this down, make sure you subscribe to this channel, like this video, and share your thoughts in the comments. Your engagement keeps independent political analysis alive and ensures stories like this continue to be examined with depth and clarity. What unfolded inside the chambers of the Parliament of South Africa has now triggered a wave of national discussion, raising questions not only about scheduling, but about political optics, transparency, and timing. During a scheduled parliamentary engagement where executive accountability was expected to take center stage, President Cyril Ramaphosa was noticeably absent. Lawmakers had gathered amid heightened political tension linked to developments surrounding the investigation into Michael Sandlana. According to parliamentary programming, the president was expected to be present during discussions anticipated to touch on governance oversight and broader institutional concerns. When proceedings began without him, opposition members reportedly sought clarification. Within minutes, the development moved beyond parliamentary procedure and into the national spotlight. Officials later indicated that the president was engaged in official state responsibilities. However, initial uncertainty fueled political interpretation and public curiosity. In politics, timing can transform routine logistics into major headlines. The investigation involving Michael Sandlana has, in recent weeks, drawn substantial public interest. Reports suggest that inquiries into his activities have prompted broader political questions regarding accountability structures and institutional processes. It is important to note that allegations remain under review, and investigations continue through lawful channels. No formal findings have been presented that implicate executive leadership in wrongdoing. However, in a climate where public trust is closely guarded, any perceived absence during scrutiny can carry symbolic weight. This is not merely about one individual. It is about the political environment surrounding governance at a critical time in South Africa's democratic evolution. Opposition representatives reportedly described the president's absence as concerning given the seriousness of ongoing national discussions. Some called for a clearer explanation of executive scheduling decisions. Others emphasized that accountability must be visibly demonstrated, particularly when investigations dominate headlines. Members aligned with the governing party defended the president's commitment to state duties, noting that executive responsibilities extend far beyond the parliamentary floor. National security briefings, diplomatic engagements, and internal consultations frequently require schedule adjustments. Still, the optics were undeniable. When scrutiny intensifies, physical presence becomes political currency. Beyond Parliament, reaction was swift. News outlets across South Africa carried updates throughout the day. Digital platforms filled with commentary, analysis, and speculation. Some citizens viewed the development as a routine scheduling matter inflated by political rivalry. Others questioned whether communication from the presidency could have been more immediate to prevent uncertainty. South Africa's electorate has become increasingly attentive to issues of governance transparency. Years of public inquiries and institutional reform efforts have heightened expectations for visible accountability. As a result, even temporary uncertainty can trigger broader debate about leadership posture. Despite the headlines, government institutions continued functioning. Committees proceeded with oversight processes. Parliamentary business advanced according to constitutional guidelines. The presidency later reiterated its commitment to cooperating with all lawful inquiries and emphasized ongoing executive duties. There has been no official indication of misconduct related to the absence itself. Yet political narratives often develop independently of formal findings. In democratic systems, leadership is measured not only by action, but by perception. South Africa currently faces complex challenges: economic reform debates, coalition negotiations in various provinces, and sustained public demand for improved service delivery. In such an environment, political symbolism carries amplified impact. The Sandlana investigation exists within this larger framework. Allegations, though still under examination, have prompted renewed discussion about governance standards and institutional resilience. President Ramaphosa has frequently emphasized constitutional process and measured response during controversy. Supporters argue this approach reflects stability. Critics contend that heightened visibility during moments of scrutiny is equally essential. The tension between procedural leadership and symbolic reassurance now defines this political episode. If clarified swiftly and followed by direct parliamentary engagement, the incident may recede into routine political memory. However, sustained ambiguity could encourage opposition parties to pursue additional oversight motions or demand formal briefings. It is crucial to separate verified fact from speculation. Absence alone does not imply avoidance. Democratic systems provide structured mechanisms for inquiry, review, and accountability. Allegations remain subject to evidence and due process. But political momentum often builds around perception long before conclusions are reached. The significance of this development lies in what it represents: a nation deeply attentive to executive accountability. Parliament symbolizes democratic oversight. When leadership appears absent during sensitive discussions, questions naturally arise. Not necessarily accusations, but questions. South Africa's constitutional framework was designed precisely for such moments. Institutions are meant to withstand scrutiny. Leaders are expected to meet it. The investigation involving Michael Sandlana will continue through formal channels. Parliamentary oversight remains active. Public discourse continues within democratic boundaries. The true test will not be a single day's attendance record, but how leadership addresses sustained public attention. South Africa is watching carefully. Not with hysteria, but with heightened awareness. If you value in-depth political analysis grounded in facts and institutional context, subscribe to the channel, like this video, and join the conversation below. Your engagement strengthens informed public dialogue at a time when clarity matters most. The coming days will reveal whether this moment becomes a footnote or a defining chapter in South Africa's ongoing political story.